So from Uganda, Kampala, Paul came to Leeds University to study civil engineering and spent a good few years, maybe 8 years or more,
something like that, yeah.
up in the north. So that was his introduction to to UK life. And at a certain point, moved down to London, which is where I'm from. So my family is huge, and we're located on the south side in South London, a big Jamaican family. And if I think about any family occasion, whether it's, you know, celebrating anniversaries or weddings or birthdays, yeah, always rum. Rum is the family spirit. So, you know, very, very conservative in our drinking. It would be overproof white rum with a bit of cola, a little bit of aged rum, but that's pretty much it, and some rum punch. So growing up, for me, that was my go-to. You know, going to college and university, I still continued to drink rum. But didn't really know much about the heritage of rum. Just knew that, you know, it was the family spirit. So when we met, we were very much in our corporate careers. So Paul was a high-flying civil engineer, chartered civil engineer, and I was working in corporate marketing. We got married, we had our daughter in 2014, and when Paul took me to Matugga, I was just so captivated by this place and its beauty, so lush and green. And also, I found it so confusing that I would see a lot of sugarcane across Kenya, across Uganda, but I found it really hard to get rum in a bar or any venue. And that confused me a lot, because where I see sugarcane, I think rum is being made locally, but that was not the case. So when I met Paul, he was more about whisky, particularly the finest, you know, single malt. But my family showed him the way.
It was actually Jason's grandma's wake.
A 9-night.
Jamaicans have a really unique culture around funerals. They have what they call a 9-night celebration, which is sort of 9 days after the person passes on. They have a celebration of the person's life, and rum is flowing. And we got into a conversation with your uncle Dickie, and I don't know how we ended up talking about rum, but we were obviously drinking rum, and they were telling me about rum, teaching me about rum. And we just had the idea just clicked. We were just like, we should do this, because nobody's doing it. From a cultural perspective, rum is the drink for Jamaicans and Jamaican culture. Africa has plenty of sugarcane and plenty of land, and our cultures might be different, but both African cultures were still the same warm family environment, love parties, love drinking. Just because we don't drink rum doesn't mean we can't like rum. It's just we've never made rum.
We just started getting into the scene. So we went to our first rum festivals, so London Rum Festival, went to the Paris Rum Festival, which we just adored. And that exposed us to a brand new category. We had no knowledge of agricole rum before that point, and just absolutely fell in love. So we immersed ourselves. And then on the education side, we looked at a tradition in the UK for rum distilling, and we found that there really wasn't much. But what had inspired us is that, you know, we were right in the middle of the gin boom, and you had seen the reinvention of gin, remade from mother's ruin to something that is highly desirable, right? And the whole gin renaissance. So we thought we must be able to bring that artisanal approach to rum. Why not? If we can figure out how to make it from scratch in the UK. And we found the one distillery that had figured out how to make rum from scratch, and that was the English Spirit Distillery. So that's actually how we got started. So we worked with the master distiller there. We had a very clear idea of the brand, and it just had to be called Matugga to keep us rooted to place and be really intentional that we wanted to launch a brand that was intrinsically linked to our cultural heritage, where there was nothing like that. And you know, we wanted it to have a lot of African iconography. So, you know, as you see from our branding, it's very strong and powerful in that respect, playing on, you know, almost like textile, African textile. So getting started was assisted by working under contract manufacturing, but Paul already had an idea about the style of rums, and we ended up being very innovative. We launched 2 very unique rums. The first, our Matugga Golden, so an aged rum with smokiness. As far as we could see, nobody had ever done that.